Hello everybody, this is Mayor Hunter Larkin here, and we're tuning in to Goddard at a Glance. Thank you for tuning in. Today we have a very special guest, Mr. John Dugan. John, thanks for coming on today.
You're welcome.
John's going to tell us a little bit about the history of Goddard and how things kind of came to be. John's been a big role, an influential role in Goddard, and I'd kind of like to have his take and explain how things came about. So John, one of your first things that you did in Goddard, and correct me if I'm wrong, but was back in '93 with the South Frontage Road where Walt sat, right? On 199th.
Right.
Tell me the story there and what all happened.
I bought the property right east of Walt's, and to develop it, I had to buy a right for a street right on the north end of Walt's. So I bought that, and then I put in the street with the bonds, and then I built a water detention behind it because it would have flooded everything there if I'd have just developed it. So then we sold the Subway, and then I later sold it to another fellow that put in the hotel, and so that's the first thing. Yeah,
that was the first thing. And so then, in '97, was it that you started working on the Holy Spirit, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And so when did you really start working on that, and why did you want to do the Holy Spirit?
Well, the Bishop of Wichita Bishop Gerber wanted a parish out there, so we give him the 25 acres on the northeast corner of 130, the diocese, 183rd and Kellogg, and then we give him the $5 million to build a church, and that was the first thing. I think the second thing would be the bank come along and bought across the road from it, a bank at Mount Hope, First National Bank. So I used that money to build the street to on the north side of Kellogg, and the water line, and then I think the next thing would have been the KDOT wanted to do the bypass, so they put in they wanted to do a street on the south side, which was right there where in front of the Walmart, along the highway, right on the highway.
So you bring up Walmart. Walmart was a pretty big role in everything that's happened in Goddard.
Yes.
What happened with Walmart? Did you approach them? Did they approach you? What happened there?
They approached me, or a realtor approached me and asked me to consider it. And it went on 2 or 3 years, and finally he said, if you will give them 20 acres, that they would build it within 2 years, and so I did that.
So you gave them the ground.
I give them the ground.
So what was the reason for giving a company like Walmart free ground?
Well,
why did you do that?
I seen an example of that in Derby where somebody gave to Target, and they was talk of that down in Derby about how much it expanded after that happened, that they brought in Target. Well, I could see Walmart doing the same thing, so I give them and that's what happened. It expanded after that. Everything happened after Walmart come in.
Now, let's talk about homes a little bit. When you were working on Holy Spirit, there wasn't any homes around there. The Season, St. Andrews.
No, after we got the parish announced, the building wasn't built yet. I was working with Paul Kelsey on some other properties on the west side of Wichita, and I talked him into coming out there and starting the Seasons.
But he didn't want to.
He didn't want to, no. He said it was too far out. So he started the Season, and that went pretty well. So then it was St. Andrews, and of course you can see what else happened after that.
So let's get back to Walmart and how important that one deal that you made, giving the ground to Walmart, made, because it's pretty true that if Walmart wasn't there, then the store bond would never have been there, right?
Nothing would have been happening. It would have been actually the only thing when Walmart said we're going to go out there and build. which everything happened after that, and they could see that they was going, if the Walmart wanted to be out there, they want to be Homes, and of course Starbond then. And they approached me to be in the Starbond district, which the quarter where Starbond is, and also the quarter section of land that we sit on, where Walmart sits on. So Walmart's sales tax pays the bonds for the Starbonds.
And you got nothing out of being in the Starbond district. They approached you, so why did you say okay? Why did you feel like it was important to be in the district?
Well, I knew that after that Walmart would grow and Starbond would grow, that everything else would progress after that.
You were thinking ahead.
Yeah, thinking yes. I thought, well, I might not be around because I'm almost 89 years old, so who knows? But here I am.
So one of the other big projects that you did was Dove Estates.
Yes.
Why'd you do Dove? What was the reason for that? What's the story behind that?
I did that for my 5 daughters. We have 5 boys and 5 girls, and the boys all had their businesses going, so I thought that would be a good asset for them. So that's the reason we built the Dove Estates.
It's turned out to be a very successful, probably more than what you even thought, right? Because they've added Dove Landing and the memory care as well. So
yeah, one of the girls sort of helps operate Jill, and she does a good job and keeps everybody doing well there. Anyway, they built a memory care since then, and so it's been a good project.
So if you're big into thinking ahead into the future, 10, 15, 20 years ahead, what do you hope Goddard will look like in 10, 15, 20 years?
Derby.
So are we on the right path?
Yes, we are.
What do you think that we could probably do? What's the right attitude to have to get to Derby State?
Well, if we keep the builders happy, that's the biggest thing, is keeping builders coming in and building houses and duplexes and apartments, and there'll be a lot more around that Starbond, around Walmart. That's just the beginning. We're just seeing the beginning of all this. I won't see it, but the kids will see. Kids own it. It's called the Goddard Galleria, our area. So I think it's got a good future.
If there's anything that you can tell the residents of Goddard, any advice or anything, what would you say?
Brag about Goddard. Tell them how good it is living out there. And all the schools are great. And the town is now, we've got this whole new little area. Well, I shouldn't say new, but it's a whole new Goddard, if you want, on Kellogg and 183rd. So there's a lot of future there.
Well, John, thank you so much for coming on.
All right.
I appreciate you, and thank you for tuning in at Goddard at a Glance, and we'll see you next time.